Hey folks, today I was at the farmer's market and I purchased this Dendrobium orchid, but it doesn't tell me what species it is. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and be planting this in an orchid pot. So I don't use bark because I realize that when you water the bark, it's so coarse that the water goes right through and the orchids do not actually get enough moisture. They get a lot of aeration for the roots, which is what a lot of orchids want, but they do not literally. Oh, look at these roots growing out from underneath. Oh, there's a little snail. So anyway, they basically don't get enough water when you do that. And this pot, you see, it doesn't have holes on the side to breathe because of the fact that the bark does not provide them with enough moisture retention. So this has a really good root system, but it's really difficult to pull out. And in case anyone's wondering, I bought it because it was on sale at 25% off. So that's one reason. So it was a good price at that when at discounted. Okay, I feel the roots coming out. So all this bark has to go. Well, not necessarily all of it. I can basically keep some of it in there. That will be fine, but too much bark will not be a good thing, at least with my experience. Although some people do plant them in bark and have success, I don't. What I like to use is long fiber sphagnum moss. And for some reason, the sphagnum moss does a decent job with moisture retention and aerating the roots. So I'm going to put some in here, and then I'm going to take the Dendrobium, careful not to damage the roots, and I'm going to put it in, take whatever bark I can, and take that out. And then set this in here, and then add sphagnum moss to it. And what happens is when you give it a good watering, the sphagnum moss will actually soak up a lot of moisture and retain it. So then it will retain moisture, because you think about the tropics where most of the orchids that people like to grow are at, they literally enjoy a lot of rain. So they can breathe, but they also have a lot of water. So that's why the moisture retention from the sphagnum moss and the breathability of it is optimal compared to the bark, which I have not experienced it retaining enough moisture. So I'm just adding what I can, sphagnum moss, and as I water this, it will eventually settle in, and I can always add more as need be. So that's what I'm doing, and here we have it nicely planted. It has a little bit of bark still left, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because I have a lot of sphagnum moss to help facilitate the retention of moisture that the bark does not do for me whenever I try to water orchids in bark. But yeah, I kept killing orchids until I started implementing long fiber sphagnum moss. Unfortunately, bark is more sustainable than the long fiber sphagnum moss. So you want to reuse the moss whenever you can, and you also want to literally not just throw it away, you know. And you can also revive the sphagnum moss and grow it, although it grows way too slow. So now that I have enough sphagnum moss layered on here, I can go ahead and give this a thorough watering, and there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and are inspired to plant your own orchids in such fashion and compare how well they do relative to the bark. So thanks for watching and happy planting.